Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. I welcome you to the program The Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam as a teacher. Now, one of the lessons that we as teachers can learn from the life of the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, from his sunnah, his seerah, is to keep calm and stay composed. Sometimes your students might challenge you with their questions, and they might be sometimes harsh towards you, whether consciously or unconsciously, whether intentionally or unintentionally. So at that time, it is your responsibility to keep your cool and do not respond to them in in a harsh way. So we learn in the sunnah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and we learn from the seerah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that sometimes some people, whether there was an individual or a group of people, they came to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. They were harsh toward the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. They sometimes asked questions in a manner that was not appropriate. But even in that situation, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam was very calm and he was very gentle towards them. We read in the Holy Quran, فَبِمَا رَحْمَةٍ مِّنَ اللَّهِ لِنْتَ لَهُمْ, and by Allah's mercy, you were lenient towards them. So this was one of the qualities of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that he was kind, gentle, and he would remain calm, he would stay composed. And this is a learning for all of us as teacher, that we should never lose our temper. Whatever is the question of whatever is the attitude of your student, you are supposed to deal with your student in a manner that is focused on the core issue. Once a man came to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and he called out, "Who is Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam?" And Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam was sitting along with his companions at that time. Companions of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam indicated towards the Prophet that he is sitting here with us. So he then spoke to the Prophet. So first of all, he said that, so you say that you have been sent by Allah to all the people? So the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam responded, yes. At that time, that person was very harsh. His tone was not appropriate. And even in that situation, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam responded to him in a kind manner, in a very gentle way. So the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam was not harsh while responding to that man. Then he asked, okay, so you tell us that 5 prayers are there, and the prayers are obligatory for all of us, right? So the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam responded, yes. And then he asked another question, and that was, and you say that it is obligatory for us to observe fast in the month of Ramadan? So the Prophet responded, yes. Then he asked the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, so you also say that those who are rich among us, they must pay zakat, and that obligatory charity to the needy and to those who deserve? So the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam responded, yes. So at the end of this conversation, that man who was very harsh, he said to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, so I believe in what you say. So that was a statement that reflected that he believed in the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He accepted Islam, and he was a man who was representing his tribe. So he was a person of influence, and then he returned to his tribe and also called all of them towards Islam. So now what do we learn in this conversation? We learn that even if the person who is asking you questions, he is harsh, right? And he's not soft spoken. So you, even at that time, as a teacher, you are supposed to respond to him in a kind manner. You should not lose your temper, and you should stay focused on the core issue, on the question that has been asked from you. So as a teacher, we learn that if our students, they lose their temper, we are supposed to keep cool and stay composed and try to answer that questions in an objective manner, and this will ultimately have a positive influence on our students. And in that situation we'll be trying to modeling a behavior, a positive behavior, right? And students will very soon they'll start following your behavior and your attitude and your gentleness, so it will be transferred to your students. So this is what we learn from the sunnah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that as a teacher we should never lose our temper, and we should stay composed and keep calm.